Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Ghost Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Lobbing Scorchers Under the Lights. Gonna be a good show here this evening. Not sure if you guys heard, but the Seattle Sounders are hosting the Leagues Cup final against Inter Miami, Leo Messi, and the Barca Boys at Lumen Field on Sunday by virtue of last night's 2-0 semifinal triumph at LA Galaxy, which is still, I don't know if it's fully sunk in yet that Leo Messi is coming to the city for a cup final, but that is happening. That is happening on Sunday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to preview that game a lot. We're going to bask in the LA win a little more as well. And I did line up an Inter Miami guest for you guys. I got Kris from Battered Herons, an Inter Miami podcast. He's going to be joining the show a little later. They are doing their own preview show on their channel right now. But Kris is going to tap in after that. And we're going to talk some Inter Miami, get the scouting report. You know, you got to get the scouting report on Leo Messi. Strengths and weaknesses, you know. But we're gonna get Kris on here. He's gonna tell us all about life with the Herons, this season. But really, I think we're gonna be talking a lot about the Leo Messi era and just kind of the moment that team is in right now. That'll be coming up in a little bit. But before that, really, I didn't have a lot specific planned other than, like I said, basking in this LA win a little more. I think I do think it's worth kind of appreciating a moment like this when you get to a moment like this. Cup finals, they don't come around all that often. You know, we've all been lucky enough to watch this team play in a lot of them and win a few of them over the years. But opportunities like this one in particular, where you get a cup final against the literal number one greatest player to ever play the game, opportunity like this doesn't come around every day. And the reason that this opportunity is here is because of the run that this team is on right now, which has been this has been an incredible run in Leagues Cup, but really since Club World Cup. This is some of the best footy I've ever seen this team play. Just in terms of the comprehensive nature of some of the performances we're seeing, the attacking footy that we're seeing, the production that we're seeing, the aesthetic value of what we're seeing, and the results that they're taking. So I don't want to gloss over that before going into this final, which it's going to be a historic game. I'm expecting Lumen to be crazy. It's going to be wild. And it's going to be fun. This is why we do it, stuff like this. This is why we grind all year watching mid-April games against FC Dallas. It's also you can have opportunities like this. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited. We're all excited. We'll preview the game a lot. We'll talk a lot of Inter Miami. As always, if you guys have questions, topics, anything at all that you want me to hit, go ahead, drop it in chat. When we get Kris on here, if you got Inter Miami questions for him, I'm sure he'd be happy to field some. I always think that's fun when you guys hit the guests with questions. So I'm going to put him on the spot. And then, yeah, that's going to be the show. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all socials, including Instagram and TikTok. And like the video. I'm going to be telling you to do that a few times. Go ahead and like the video. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the post-game live last night. It went crazy. We definitely have more people in there than we've ever had at one time. So appreciate everyone for making that what it was. And hopefully there was some, I think there had to have been statistically some new people in there. So that's another thing about this situation is when you're the team that's playing against Messi's team, it's a different kind of microscope in its own right, because from the outside, the way everyone else is framing this is like, oh, that's the team that's like trying to take Messi down. You know, that's Seattle's role in this situation. And it is kind of weird. I feel like most times in a cup final, it's like everyone is kind of always rooting against Seattle, or at least when it comes to playoff games, big games. Seattle's the team that gets rooted against in these situations a lot of the time. But I don't think that's the case this time. This is the team that like everyone wants to see the downfall. I don't necessarily put myself in that category. I'm always in for a good downfall. But I don't feel that passionately one way or the other. If Inter Miami has a categorical downfall, or if they don't win any trophies and the Leo Messi era is considered a failure, I don't really care one way or the other. I think it's been pretty sick having Messi in the league. He's very fun to watch. But there is a unique opportunity in this situation, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Even outside of the fact that it's an opportunity to add a trophy that Seattle doesn't have yet to the trophy case. There would be something special about doing it against this team. And we'll talk about that more later. Hit a couple in chat here to start it off, get us rolling. And then I did have one little thing planned at the start here. New segment for you guys. Ari still going to Miami for your B-Day? TBD. Noah can't go anymore, so I would be going solo. And like part of the reason to go was the novelty of potentially seeing the Sounders get to play against Messi and the Barca Boys. It's kind of like anyone's guess on a given week whether he's actually going to play. And you know what's funny too is if this was a regular season game, he would not be coming within 2,000 miles of the city of Seattle. There's no way. Not on short rest, not on the turf. I don't think any of the Barca Boys would ever play here unless it was a final. That's the only circumstance that they would ever play here. And it's, Seattle takes a lot of heat for the turf. Visiting players famously hate the turf. I low-key think it's like it adds to the home field advantage in situations like this where, you got some guys that are advanced in age. Okay. We're going to see what the old men have got. They're going to have to do it on turf, it might be raining. I don't know. I haven't looked at the forecast. But there's no weaseling out of it. There's no I'm going to take this game off to rest. Like, they're going to be throwing it all out there. So I definitely – the thing about Inter Miami is that if they hit their top level on any given game, they're hard to beat. This team, when they get hot, they can score goals with the best of them. They're not always hot, though. They're not always hot. And the thing about this matchup, too, is that it's also like they can be scored on. I'll tell you guys that. This team can be scored on. They've been known to leak some goals. And that's why, chat, tell me if you agree with this take. I was formulating this one. Nuhu obviously suspended for this game. People were debating, like, J.O. said on a post-game live last night that he's pretty certain that RBW is going to get the start. People might have different feelings about that. I think that actually, I don't think it's better than if Nuhu was available for this game, but I do think that when you're game planning against a team that's got Leo Messi on it, making the decision on who to play based on like their defensive capabilities, I almost feel like doesn't matter. There's been no defensive player, to my knowledge, in the history of the sport where that's made a difference. I don't know, maybe someone who follows it better than me does know if there's like if there was a La Liga defender or a Champions League defender that was known as, like, remember they used to say like the Kobe stopper. I don't know if there's like a Messi stopper historically. But when it comes to matching up with this Messi-led version of Inter Miami, how you line it up defensive, like he can score on you in any moment of the game from anywhere on the field at any given time, no matter who is out there. You can have Nuhu out there. You can have your defensive specialists out there. You can have the greatest defensive lineup in MLS history. He can get you at any time. And so that is to say, this game is all about the offense for me. If you're able to put 3 or 4 past this team, just say for the sake of argument, you get 4. Messi could have 2 goals and an assist and you could still win the game. See what I'm saying? And RBW, yeah, fine. Put him out there. Let him make his runs. Let him send in his crosses. I'm not saying it's like you shouldn't try and stop him. It just doesn't always make a difference. I think that's the thing that I have gleaned as much as anything from now. I watch a lot of Inter Miami. I watch them week in, week out. When they get rolling, when Messi's hot, they can put a couple on the scoreboard. I do not at all, by any stretch of my imagination, expect a clean sheet in this game. I just don't. Like, you can hope for it. You can wish for it. He's probably going to get you for at least one. He is. But if you can get on them and you can outscore them, I think that's the path to winning this game. Just especially with how their personnel is and how they match up and how their defense has been known to be their weak point. That's kind of how I was thinking of it. But yes, Messi is still quite good. He is the reigning MVP. He has 19 goals, 8 assists in 25 games this year. The other thing is, like, I was saying he can hit you with a goal at any time. He's also the best playmaker to ever play the game. That's the thing about him. He's like, if you combined the most clinical, efficient goal scorer of all time, and then gave him the attributes of the best playmaking facilitator, number 10 of all time, and put them in the same guy. That's what he is. So you got to deal with that. The frequency and efficiency with which he gets on the stat sheet, it's like, we all knew that that's what he was doing in La Liga his whole career, these last 20 years. For me, it's been different, like actually watching the games every week and just kind of the staggering efficiency with which he does it. It's unmatched ever. So that's why it's fun, though. That's why this is such a unique opportunity and why it would be an even more historic win than it already would have been if they were playing somebody else. Famously, we did better than PSG than they did in Club World Cup. True. I think they got 4-0'd. Seattle only got 2-0'd. I think Seattle got beat by the least out of anybody by PSG until they got destroyed by Chelsea in the final. Which I think there's a little bit to be said for that. My memory of that game is when they went up 2-0, they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. It felt like they were kind of in first or second gear. But you still have to credit Seattle for having any game against a team like that and with a even decently competitive scoreline, which 2-0, there's different kinds of 2-0s. I would argue the 2-0 that Seattle put on the LA Galaxy last night was one of those where it was could have been a 4-0. And you could probably say that about the PSG game, I guess, but no, I don't think to the same extent. I thought Seattle was relatively dignified, competitive in that game. You're right. My bad. 19 goals, 8 assists in 19 games. I was trying to remember it off the top of my head, but that illustrates the point even more. 19 goals, 8 assists in 19 games. It's a lot of goals and assists. I did have let's introduce a new little segment here. This is a fun little segment for you guys. We were doing a little bit after the Cruz Azul game where we were riffing on the final graphic that the team that Seattle beat had to post. And we had some fun with that. And I was thinking, that could be a fun little anytime Seattle destroys a team or knocks another team out of a tournament like this, let's go ahead and take a look at the final graphic tweet. What did the LA Galaxy cook up here? They got beat 2-0 in the Leagues Cup semifinals in a situation where they've been one of the worst teams in the league all year. And this was all they had to play for. So needless to say, the fan base is not happy. There's not really a good decision to be made on that. Well, let's see what they cooked up for us. See what they cooked up. Now, you got two decisions to make here. It's what do you put on the graphic? Who do you put on the graphic? And then, do you have some text to go along with it? I'm a big fan of the no text final graphic. Whenever another team does the no text final graphic, that's the funniest to me. But here they decided to go with, instead of just the final period, they went with focus shifts to a chance at a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot on Sunday because they're playing in the third place game. I would not have gone with that because underscoring a third place game to me that feels counterproductive. but like final and full time period, those are very. I might have gone no text final graphic here, straight up. Might have gone no text final graphic. But I do like what they did with the picture. Like when we were looking at the Cruz Azul one, they had one guy centered on it, and it's like, come on, man. I think this is the better way to do it, where you have the group photo. It's like we're all in this together. We took this L together as a team. Now we're in the third place game. If it was me doing it, I would have taken this out. And then I think the graphic is actually fine. It's a lot better than the Cruz Azul graphic. But, when you got a 7-0, again, that's another situation where there's not a lot of good options, to be fair. You can see they're sitting on 78 replies here, which Cruz Azul, I think, at least 5K'd on their replies. So it's a little lower stakes in that regard. But I mean, if you go through, it's a lot of stuff like this. Anyway, that's the new segment. Final L graphics. I'll have to name it. Hopefully you guys all got some sleep last night. I didn't get a whole lot. I was sitting there watching the Osaze goal, the shake and quake. I was sitting there watching the shake and quake for an hour or two after we got done with the post-game show. And then I was just buzzing. It's just kind of a crazy situation to be in. And really, like, that game last night was I know it was just the Galaxy. People are going to say it doesn't count. But like, there's in a knockout game and an elimination game, it can always go either way. And if they had lost this game and missed out on the opportunity to host this game against this Galaxy team, it would have been a big disappointment, to say the least. So it was very nice to see them just take care of business like that. Get on top of them from the jump. Did you guys notice how, how these teams that have been playing against Seattle lately have been doing this shit where off the kickoff, they yeet it way out of bounds, like in the Seattle end, and then concede the throw in on purpose so they can like start their press early. I love what Seattle did off kick last night. None of that. They literally immediately started attacking. And like kind of almost got a little good chance right off rip. That's how you set the tone. I love this team's mentality right now. I love how they're pressing. I love how they're putting teams under pressure. And I want to say too, even with the Nuhu red card, there's people saying like there was no reason for him to be going into that tackle that hard with that lead at that point in the game. Like, he should have been more tactical and just let Gabriel Peck stay upright without a tackle, without trying to win the ball off him right there. Yeah, fuck that. They didn't get to where they are in this tournament by letting up. By letting their foot off the gas pedal. Swamp them the entire game. Doesn't matter if you're up 2-0. I like that he was still playing hard. I like that he was still going into tackles. It obviously had a bad outcome, and I think what you could say is that if he is going to do that, make absolute sure that there's no interpretation of that could be had of your studs going into his leg or whatever. In the heat of the moment, I think that's kind of hard to do. But as far as like Nuhu's still playing hard at that time in the game, first of all, I love the mentality, but I also just think it's fun. Nuhu hates Gabriel Peck. He hates that guy. And he doesn't respect him. I think that's kind of what I took away from watching them go at it again last night. That's the third time they've gone at it. There was one really funny moment that I noticed, like watching the highlights back. You guys remember the one where he and Gabriel Peck were going at it on the right side near the penalty box, and Nuhu just starts pointing. He starts pointing, and then Gabriel Peck takes the ball away from where Nuhu is pointing and takes a shot from distance and sails it way over the goal. And I remember when he did that live, I was like, Nuhu, what are you doing? Why are you pointing like that and then giving him space to rip a shot from distance like that? Watching it again, I think what he was doing was, it was like calling his shot like, I know where you're going to go. You have one move. I know what it is. You're going to go right there. I already know what you're going to do. And it's not going to work. Hasn't worked on me one time. So do it. The point is, go right there. Go right there. Gabriel Peck is like, oh, you think you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna take it back this way. I'm going to rip a shot into the 27th row. He hates that guy. And I don't think that's why he slid tackled him that hard. I think what in his mind, it's like, you are not, I don't care. Like, you're not getting an inch on me. I'm not giving you one blade of this grass. I don't care. You've been a crash out, Kris, for the last 30 minutes of the game. I own you. You cannot play with me. I think that's kind of what his mentality was. And, you know, he got ejected. He's not playing in the final. In general, I just don't mind the mentality of keeping your foot on the gas, suffocating those guys every second. Suarez is one of the preeminent crash outers in the history of the sport, which, you know, he's also scored some of the most goals in the history of the sport. So whatever makes you tick. But I mean, that's just another variable that Seattle is going to have to deal with. I mean, like, realistically, you've got the greatest player of all time. You've got, is Suarez a top 5 to 10 striker of all time? I dished that take once thinking it was non-controversial, and whoever I was talking to was like, you think Suarez is top 10 striker all time? And I was like, I mean, what's your metric? If it's just goal production, yeah. If it's like trophies won, games won, yeah. He's also a top 1 crash outer of all time. But he is one of the best, I think, number 9s ever, pretty inarguably. You got the best left back ever, best attacking left back ever. I don't know if he's considered the best two-way. Certainly the best attacking left back ever. I don't even know who you would like put up there. And then one of the top 5 to 10 best D mids ever. No? Sergio Busquets. So that is what you're going to have to deal with. They are all on the elderly side. They got that average age of 38.2. But I think what we've seen in how they've adapted to MLS is, for the most part, like, I don't think it's any of them are like categorically washed situation. Even Suarez, I know Suarez has been dealing with washed allegations this year, and he is playing on, I think, 2 knees with no cartilage in them or something. I think he's still pretty damn good. I think if he gets his looks on goal, He's a pretty good bet to finish them. And he's done a lot of good work for them as a playmaker this year, especially like when they haven't had Messi. He's taken on that role. So, difficult matchup, to say the least. I'm glad Seattle has this at home. I really think that making them fly all the way here, play at Lumen, play on the turf. How much do you guys want to bet that that we get a lot of post-game quotes from like Javier Mascherano and Lionel Messi about the turf? I think that's going to happen whether they win or lose. And, you know, Messi has also been managing a muscle injury lately. And I think there was a quote from him coming out of the game last night where he said he was feeling it like during the game. Now he has to play on short rest. Got a couple super chats here. Jacob became a YouTube member. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you. Great way to support the show. If you have not, follow Jacob's lead. Become a YouTube member. Thanks, man. Thank you for the $1.99, Spencer. You coming to New York for the October match, coward? Probably not. Probably not. They play at NYCFC this year? I remember that. I don't know if that's accurate. Messi and the Barca Boys coming to Lumen Field. How confident are you guys, chat? How confident are you? I think it's just tough to judge because all things being equal with the form that Seattle's in against a road team that's coming in with the defensive issues that this Inter Miami team has had, you like your chances, but one thing I do know is that having the literal number one greatest player of all time on your team can tend to be an X factor in any given situation. You can think that the game is going well. You got the game state under control. You've got Messi relatively contained. It's all going well. Like, I guess that's what it is against a team like this, like game state and, you know, controlling the tempo and limiting touches of the dangerous, like that stuff doesn't matter as much just because you have multiple guys, but one guy in particular that literally it's just any point in the game, he can either just score. He can dribble through your whole defense. He can score out of nowhere. He can find some crazy pass that no one else would have thought of that springs an opportunity that leads to a goal. That shit can happen at any time. And there's going to be sequences in this game where that does happen. Where he gets on the ball and he just starts cooking. For a bunch of old guys, when they get out in transition, like they don't look very old. Like the Inter Miami on the counter with all these old guys is still like a buzzsaw sometimes. When they get rolling, it can be tough to stop. But the same thing could be said, I think, for Seattle right now. Seattle is phenomenal in transition right now. And another thing that Seattle's been doing that I've enjoyed watching and could work in their favor in a situation like this is the way they've been overmatching other teams' energy. The way that they just jumped all over the Galaxy last night, it looked like one team was playing just at a fundamentally different pace, different level of intensity than the other. So we'll see if they can do that. It's going to be a lot harder against this team. All right. We have got tonight's guest tapping in right now. Excited to welcome him in on short notice. Usually I try and get these guests a little further in advance, but not knowing who what the matchups were going to be, what the opponent was going to be, I couldn't do it until this morning. And luckily, we found someone nice enough, generous enough to come on here, talk some Inter Miami versus Seattle Sounders Leagues Cup final. Let's bring him to the stage right now. His name is Kris. He's with the Battered Herons Inter Miami podcast. They have a podcast and YouTube channel where they do great work covering Inter Miami. Kris, welcome in. Thanks for joining the show on short notice. Like I said, how are you doing? How are you feeling after the semifinals?
Feeling good. I mean, luckily, we're in a finals, so that's fantastic. And it's the uphill battle still proceeds because we're winning trophies this year. So that's what we're looking in for.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. But before we get into it and talk this matchup in this game, we do like to give our guests at the top of the show a chance to tell our audience, your origin story, how your show got started, where to find your work, and just the type of stuff you guys do covering this team week in, week out. So feel free to plug anything that you're working on and just give the story on how Battered Herons came to be. It's a great name, by the way.
Thank you. No, that's all credit goes to my co-host Danny. He called it Battered Fans because he's a Jets fan. He's been battered his whole entire life.
That's
so
tough. That's tough.
For him, he's Battered Fans. Even when your team is a good team, when they don't make it to the championship, it's a failure. So that's sort of the idea of what a battered fan is, right? Him and I sort of started a couple years ago before Messi came on. And I wasn't even a soccer fan. I hated soccer about 2.5 years ago. And he's like, hey, we should go to a game. I'm like, okay, I got nothing to do. Luckily, they won 5-1 against a terrible team. It was fun. The atmosphere was amazing. And I said, you know what? Let me buy some season tickets. So I bought season tickets. He's like, you want to do a podcast? Like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. So we jump on, do a podcast. And since then, we've just been, racing.
That's funny. That's it's a little bit similar to my origin story, starting with the Sounders, which was I was doing a journalism internship in Seattle, and my editors didn't really care about soccer, and I was tangentially into MLS. I liked soccer, but I wasn't obsessive into it. I wasn't super diehard about it. But then they let me cover a couple Sounders games for this internship. This was 2014. Let me cover a couple Sounders games. And the first time I went, I was like, yo, what is this? This is the coolest thing I've ever been to. And I mean, ever since the first one I went to, I was never not hooked after that. It's amazing how that can happen. When you go just experience it and feel what it's like in the stadium and just watch the game live and the fans and the atmosphere. It can suck you in right away. And obviously, you guys kind of lucked out because those first couple Inter Miami years were not that glamorous. It took a while for this team to become what it is now, but really over the last couple years, I guess this is where we'll start. I like to give my perception as a neutral outsider of the team that Seattle is playing. And then you can tell me if how I perceive it is accurate, or if there's any amendments you would make based on what you know of how you guys think of it, how the fan base thinks of it. But I think some of these are harder than others. I know more about some teams than others. I think this team, everyone knows it at this point. This Inter Miami team, one of the sickest teams to be a fan of right now, and it's because of what they've done with the players they brought in, obviously specifically Leo Messi, but bringing in his Barcelona comrades that he dominated La Liga with and Champions League with for so many years. It created what was last year looked pretty unstoppable. I was pretty convinced you guys were going to win MLS Cup going away easily after setting the points record because of how that season went. But I still think that team last year, when they were on, they were playing the best attacking footy I've ever seen in the league. Every single time that they were on a counter with Messi pulling the strings and running it, it was a dangerous opportunity every single time. I really the only time that I've seen anything like that was like the Barcelona teams that all those guys were on. That's what it looked like for a lot of the season. So really, like, the on-field impact and product that's been put out in a lot of the regular season results, you can't really argue with. But as I see it right now, when you're talking about like the total final trophy haul, the championships that were supposed to come with this, it is not quite lived up to that. Like, there's been meat on the bone with that. They obviously got upset by Atlanta United in the playoffs last year. So I think this Inter Miami team is playing for a lot this year, and specifically in this game like this. When you have a team like this, the expectation is win everything, win Leagues Cup, win MLS Cup, win the Shield. Absolutely. Which they did last year. And if you don't, that's just what comes with it. And if you don't do that, it feels like expectations aren't being met. So the way I see it is this Leagues Cup game and this tournament and then MLS Cup this year are going to be like hugely determinative in how successful this Messi era is thought of, because there's been amazing footy, there's been amazing goals, entertaining stuff, but only a Leagues Cup and a Shield so far. Got to have more. Would you amend anything with that, or would you say that's where things stand?
I would make a couple changes, right? Because let's begin where you started, right? Historically, right? You mentioned that the first couple seasons were kind of, stucky. One thing that I think is a big misconception is that this team was terrible before Messi came, and that Messi is the only reason why we breathe air in South Florida. Now, that's not the case, because just the year prior, we had a good team that made the playoffs with Alejandro Pozuelo and basically Higuain and a couple other pieces, right? Now, Inter Miami didn't sign anybody to any DP contracts because it was seen that we were going to obtain a big dog, the biggest dog ever in Messi, right? So there was plans happening in the background. So then everybody's like, well, what's happening? Nobody's getting signed. Pozuelo's riding a stationary bike on a balcony in Brickell, and nobody knows what's happening. So there was a lot of planning that was happening in place. And then obviously, since half the season in the beginning, you're not signing anybody. Pozuelo's out. I mean, it's just a disaster. So of course, you don't do your best. You drop. And then all of a sudden comes in Tata Martino, comes in Messi, comes in all the boys, and obviously we start doing incredible. Tata Martino, who is class, right? One of the best managers that we've seen in MLS, ends up taking this team and making it essentially into an offensive juggernaut with the greatest player of all time, along with some other really great players of all time. And we start, hitting it strong. Now, unfortunately, we did take a big fat L against Atlanta when it was predicted that we were going to win everything, right? But that's just, I guess, football, right? So by the way, a lot of people also miss the fact that a player that's not named Messi, his name is Yannick Bright, who was his rookie season coming in, he's getting paid like $5 and a Happy Meal. He was the difference maker against Atlanta. The first game, we played phenomenal. First half of the second game, he was on, played phenomenal. He got injured. Second half of the second game and the third game, we played awful. So that tells you a little bit more than what people actually are portraying out there. When it comes to this year, the expectancy is high because we were expected, or at least the fan base were expecting in the CCC to win, right? We weren't expecting to win the Club World Cup, but at least the CONCACAF Champions Cup, we were expecting to win. When we got bounced out of that, now at this point, it's got to be Leagues Cup and MLS Cup or bust.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of what you're anticipating, high expectations when you got guys like Messi, Busquets, Alba, Now you got Rodrigo de Paul to add on to that. So there's a huge amount of expectancy for this team, especially at this time.
Yeah, and you want to be at a place where expectations are high, but
Yes.
there's like a pressure and weight of expectations that come with that I think this team is dealing with. I was wondering, obviously, Messi is the biggest signing that's ever come to the league, best player to ever play the game. I don't think many people
Absolutely.
dispute that at this point. What is this era been like of just having him on the team and in the city? Because I feel like I've been around in Seattle when he's been here with Argentina, and like I compare it to like people when they're around something that they think is like a god. Like that's what the environment is like. People like get emotional, they're crying. There's people running after the bus. It's just everywhere he goes is this just crazy spectacle. What's that been like, having that come to Miami and be a part of a club where I think people knew David Beckham had some stuff up his sleeve, but the fact that he actually pulled this off, what's just been the sort of impact on the fan base and then the city at large, I would say?
Well, okay, so I think because there's always going to be a before Messi and after Messi, not just for the league, but especially for us in South Florida. We went from a point where the players were literally walking from their clubhouse area to the stadium, and you can just walk up to them and they'll be signing baby diapers, right? To now they get tracked in a bus from the clubhouse, maybe like just a tenth of a mile to the stadium. So it's pandemonium. A lot of people are coming out, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, it was heavy because a lot of people wanted to see Messi. A lot of Argentine fans, a lot of Barcelona fans, they came out and they, attacked. They wanted to watch Messi live, finally have the opportunity to do so. I think it's been great, not just for Inter Miami, but I think for MLS. I think the idea that you want to hope to retain maybe 10, 5%, 15% of those fans to watch Major League Soccer. It's been great, but at the same time, you have a lot of fans who basically just come and say, hey, I'm here to watch Messi only. Your league sucks. America sucks. And I'm out of here, even if he goes to play like janitor league in like Argentina. I don't know.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see like what the actual lasting impact is past when he's here, because I think you're right. There's a lot of people. It's not even just like MLS fans right now. It's like people in the world who are a fan of him over a team. And so it'll be interesting to see how many people maybe get drawn in because he came here, but then realize, oh, I actually like this. I'm going to keep following it and keep being a fan of it past when he's here. Yeah. I don't know what percentage of people that will be, but I think there's a decent chance it'll be at least some. Got Kris from Battered Herons joining the show, talking some Inter Miami Seattle Sounders Leagues Cup final. Kris, so let's get into this final coming up on Sunday a little bit, because from where I sit, you never. I wouldn't say you ever feel this is the first time the Sounders have ever played against Lionel Messi. I wouldn't say I feel great about any matchup going up against him, just because I was talking about it earlier. He is, as much as any player that's ever played the game, a guy that like stuff like game state and tempo and what type of defense you're playing. It just doesn't matter. Like, he will pull out a goal on you at any time, and there's not that much you can do to stop it. So that is, it makes you wary of the matchup in one sense. But I've been trying to come up with the ways in my mind that Seattle can get at this team. Like, what chance does Seattle have in this game? And what I come to is that with this Inter Miami team, I think at least the perception is, phenomenal Lionel Messi led attack, one of the most electric, dynamic attacks we've ever seen in the league. when it's on, but a team that is vulnerable defensively at times. At least last year, that's how I thought about it. Is all right. Like, I mean, they're leaking some goals. It didn't matter because they scored so many that they still won every game by scoring 4 or 5 goals. But they would leak goals at times. That was a thing, and it seems like that is actually improved this year. Like, it's a much more sound, less leaky defensive team than usual, but a team that does have the propensity for still leaking goals at time. So when I'm coming up with reasons why Seattle has a chance, I'm like, all right, Messi he's probably going to get you for at least 1. The likelihood that he gets you for 2 or 3 is honestly decently high in any given game. But Seattle's also in great form in attack right now, and you can get at this team defensively. So really the path to victory to me relies on like capitalizing on that matchup more than any idea of like slowing down or stopping Messi doesn't really do much for me, because I just don't think that's something that if anybody has ever been able to do. It's not possible. So you got to just hope that you swarm this team defensively playing at home. But where would you say Inter Miami is at as far as that aspect of their team right now? Like, is it a team that you feel confident in, like going into a road game like this defensively, or is it still an issue that Mascherano's got to deal with?
I think, well, first to answer about the Messi thing, like it's impossible. Orlando in the most recent game, they had like 4 or 5 purple jerseys on him, and he's still shaking and baking. So there's just no way. And his vision is it's just ridiculous. That the cutting and the running behind, the line, the stuff that he sees is just astronomical. Now, as far as defensively, Jordi Alba, who's someone who pushes up pretty high, he actually has a pretty good knack on running back and playing some pretty good defense. Ian Frey, who's the right back, he's typically pretty good about that as well. Doesn't have as much pace, but he's very good.
Did he move from center back?
So he at some point was playing center back. They actually at one point in about a season ago or 2, he was actually playing CDM like 1 or 2 games as well. But he was playing a center back position. Then naturally he felt comfortable at the right back position, but he's been competing for that position with a guy named Cello Weigand. It's been a back and forth because they're both very different. Cello's a very defensive minded player, not great offensively. Ian Frey is great offensively and not as, I guess, consistent as Cello Weigand is on defense. But he's been able to hold his own, especially against pacey wingers. The center back position is kind of where we have our fear, because it's been a pretty different duo every game or every other game. The last duo to play together was Gonzalo Lujan and Maxi Falcón. But Noah Allen, who's a homegrown player, has been the best center back so far this season. Toto Aviles, he's a pretty good center back. He's been riding the pine for the most part this season. So that is where you're going to see a little bit of room to be able to roam for Seattle. The only other thing is also Busquets isn't as good as he was 5 years ago. Okay. Defensively, he could be a liability, right? There's some plays where he has great mind to play, to be in the right place at the right time, and sometimes his lack of speed is a detriment to the team. So those are things that I would see as advantageous for Seattle for sure.
The Busquets one is interesting because like when he first came to the league, he's one of the best passers I've ever seen. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
In terms of his vision and his
mind.
Yeah, his long passing and the switches, and I can see why Messi is like. I feel like he brought all the guys that are like, that's my guy, and I definitely saw right away, having not watched all that much Busquets. Like when Busquets got to Miami, I was like, I see why Messi like is so intent on bringing this guy to the team, so comfortable. But I guess what I'm hoping in this game is that Seattle's double pivot matching up with Inter Miami's midfield. Hopefully they can use the kind of dynamic traits that they've been showing in this tournament, and maybe take advantage of a matchup with a guy like Busquets, which might sound crazy, but it's the defensive aspect of it. Like he's gonna hit some crazy passes. He's gonna do his thing out there.
I mean, you guys are kind of depleted though. Like you have people out injured, you have people out. I mean, you guys, I was just going over this in the show that I just had. You guys since June have had 9 red cards.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, I call it I call it the crash out red card boys. They found it's remarkable the multifaceted versatility that they found and how they managed to get sent off. You got throwing a ball at a fan, you got flipping off the ref. That was all in the same one. You've got like the more normal ones that are on slide tackles, but then you got Danny Musovski bumping the ref. Who's gotten 3 of them by himself. It is this they this team loves to get red cards. They managed to take results in spite of that somehow. I don't know. It would be nice if they could make it through a match with all 11 guys, but apparently too much to ask, as we saw in the last game. But that is one thing I'm looking for is
Andrew Thomas scares me. that mustache of a man scares me.
Just for his penalty prowess, or just his general?
I mean, just because he's just a unit. Like he was really good with penalties. I mean, he has one of the best goalie looks of all time. So I'm scared.
This is his first like extended. He got this whole tournament starting because Stefan Frei got a concussion, and Frei's back, but they let the guy who started the tournament go through the tournament. So
that's good.
Yeah, this is our first look at the heir apparent. And he's been incredible in this tournament, especially in that penalty shootout. But how are you feeling, I guess, about this game, and what would you say the temperature of the fan base is? Are people feeling pretty confident, or is there any apprehension about having to do it on the road, play on turf, any of that stuff?
I think the swing is definitely up in terms of the feeling behind this team. We have players that have been injured that are contributing, and they've been looking better than we anticipated. And I feel like everybody feels good about the game coming up against Seattle. I mean, obviously, if doing an Inter Miami podcast, everybody feels pretty confident that we're going to win. But for the most part, just generally speaking, without any sort of biases, I feel like the swing is definitely up for sure with the contribution with the players and stuff. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's kind of, I guess I haven't really taken the full pulse of it, but speaking for myself, it's one of those games where ordinarily Seattle in a final, historically, I'll take them all day. It's just that like when you're matching up with Messi, like everything just kind of goes up in the air. But I'm really excited to see how it pans out. This is kind of we were kind of talking about it on our post game show. It's sort of like it's a matchup of like different paths, different ideologies, different ways of team building. You've got like the big flashy superstars. You've got a team that one of the big controversies around this team this year is that they don't spend any money at all on the transfer market, and they'll do stuff like sign Snyder Burnell as a homegrown midfielder and be like, see, that's our addition. And but it's just not the same thing as what a club like Inter Miami does or can do. So I think that kind of storyline with it is it's a lot of fun as well. And it's I think the two preeminent clubs that are near the top of the league and considered the bigger trophy contenders this year going at it. So Kris, I know you said you were on a little bit of a time crunch, so won't keep you for too much longer, but I guess anything else about this game that you wanted to hit, or did you have anything that you wanted to ask about from a Seattle perspective that you were wondering about?
I do want to add to what you were just saying now. If there's any team in the West Coast, aside from like the Los Angeles teams, that I feel that can be able to sort of build up, to where the MLS is trying to get to, is Seattle. I believe that you guys have probably one of the best fan bases consistently and a lot of history in terms of, in the MLS and American soccer. So I feel like at some point you guys can be able to get a big fish from the other side of the pond. Has there been any talks about that in terms of like Seattle looking around? Because I mean, Thomas Mueller to Vancouver to me was shocking. And I figured to myself, why wouldn't he go to Seattle?
It's just not something that this team does. And I don't know if they make it a point of like not doing it, but like when you look at the big signings that they have made over the years, it's guys like Nico Ladero and Raul Ruidiaz, who are not household names in the same way as like a Thomas Mueller or Son Heung-min, but these are guys that, are big money, high pedigree transfers in their own right that had a lot of impact on the club and on the league and on winning and on the trophies that this team has won. It's just not the same type of guy. And even in the last big splashy type signing that they made was Pedro de la Vega, who is a high upside. He was a high upside prospect when they signed him, but not a known commodity. So it's just it's not something that they have done historically and not really something I expect them to do, especially because they clearly there's something going on where they're not as willing to spend money in general as they used to be. They have a open U22 spot that they didn't fill in this window. So yeah, no, I don't expect them to really do anything on like a Thomas Mueller or Son Heung-min type level, but like I personally don't care as long as they're winning and contending and competing for and ultimately winning trophies. So that's why this game is kind of so huge, because it's like can you offer your proof of concept of how you've been doing this and win this trophy and to get to do it against this team? Like it's the perfect matchup to like test it really. And I do think, there's like a stigma, kind of a negative stigma that comes with name chasing or like the retirement league or signing these guys over at the back end of their career or whatever. But it is funny, like when you're talking about Messi, that just kind of goes out the window. Like that's one where if you have the opportunity to do it, any team in the world would be absolutely just high out of their mind to not do that. So it's just, it's kind of a different thing.
And I think that the whole retirement league deal, I think it's starting to die down, seeing that players like Son and like Rodrigo de Paul came over, right? In a time where they're not necessarily retiring, and they might be in their prime a little bit, but they're not retiring, right? They still have some good years ahead of them, and they're spending it here in the MLS. So like my whole deal is, don't look at Miami and think to yourself, they're doing it wrong. We need to start from the ground up and just work with, people in the academy. Like, no, let's all get on the ball here and make this league better than anybody could ever imagine. You got the corners of the map that can for sure get involved, right? After that, you'll start to see it branch in a little bit more. I feel like it can definitely be a success.
Absolutely. And like, I think you can have it both ways, like in a way, like it doesn't have to be one way or the other, where it's like we do it all through ourselves with our internal.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be the Philadelphia Union, like where they're just getting kids from like middle schools, like, hey, come over here and join our soccer academy and we'll pick you up. And then like, no, we want some big names. We want people to kind of stir the pot in a positive way. So
that they're an example of a team where it's like they've had great success doing it one way, but haven't really been able to get stuff over the line and like have the trophy haul to show for it. And I think their fan base feels like that's part of it. It's like you have such good infrastructure, such good foundation, some of the best youth development we've ever seen in MLS. If you guys just like spent a little bit, it doesn't even have to be like a big name. Like if it was even like a Ladero or Ruidiaz type profile of guy, like I think there's a feeling with them that could elevate them into like a trophy winning club. So it's like there's more than one way to do it, and that's what we're gonna see in this matchup. It's gonna be like a clash of that stuff, so it's gonna be fun. Kris, I'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for popping on and talking about this game with us. It was nice to meet you. you got anything that you want to plug as far as what you guys are working on or coverage you got coming up here?
Yeah, sure. If you guys want to visit the Inter Miami channel, you can go to Battered Herons on YouTube. We also do a MLS show, so you can go to Battered MLS Fans, and you can be able to check us out on there on what is it, Twitter, on YouTube. We do a bunch of other stuff as well. We also do Las Carzas in Spanish, coverage in Spanish for Inter Miami, and check us out. It's a fun time all the time with the chat. Some of the people from the show that just came over, they're hanging out in the chat right now. Shout out to you guys. So it's been really cool.
Chat, everyone, go toss Battered Herons a sub. I put the link in the description. So awesome. Go check out their coverage and give them some support. And Kris, thanks, man. Looking forward to this game, and maybe we'll get to collab again soon. These teams play in a couple weeks, so maybe get you back on for that. But just thanks for popping on the short notice, man. That was great.
Yeah, no problem. Shout out to you. Thank you guys for having me, and we'll link up soon. I promise.
Take care. Have a good one.
All right, you too, brother.
That was Kris from Battered Herons joining the show. Appreciate him giving us the time. You know, they were doing their preview show while we were on earlier. So appreciate him taking the extra time and really, you know, giving us the lowdown on what's going on with Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, and the Barca Boys. I think I was thinking about like who has the more pressure on them in this game, like which of these two teams, because when you're the team hosting a final and theoretically you're usually favored in that circumstance, you're usually the team that's got the pressure on you, the onus on you to, it's not like a house money situation. But I feel like they got to win this game. If they lose this game and then win MLS Cup, I don't think that'll be like a failure of a season. But we were talking about it. It's weight of expectations. Like when you have the roster that they have, trophies plural is what that is what defines success. And as long as Messi's playing in the league, they're going to be in the mix. But how old is he now? 38. It's kind of crazy he's 38 because if you watch him play, like, I don't know about you guys. I don't know how much Inter Miami y'all have watched this year. He does not look washed at all. He looks pretty much like the same guy that has been the best player in the sport for multiple decades now. So when you have that, you got to take some trophies, and I'd like to think that this is going to be among their biggest tests as far as the length of the road trip they have to go on, the environment they have to play in, the team they have to face, which is a team that's 9-1-4 since the Club World Cup and been ripping through Leagues Cup. It's going to be good stuff. I'm not sure what's been going on in chat. Do we have some crashing out going on, or what's going on? Okay, fake crashing out. You know, either way, it's incredibly sick that Seattle's hosting this game. I'm so glad that they don't have to go to Fort Lauderdale for this. Hosting a final at Lumen for the first time since 2022. And it's against this team. It's kind of crazy how this all lined up, isn't it? I don't know how you guys felt watching the Miami-Orlando game last night. But before the game, going into that game, that game was before Seattle's game. Before that game, I was kind of on the root for Orlando, for the upset narrative, but also because I was like, they're a good team. They're a really good team. They have an MVP candidate on their team. Really good offense. They've scored as many goals as Inter Miami this year. But I just felt like them coming to Seattle for a theoretical final, would be easier for Seattle to win than a team with Messi and the Barca Boys on it. But, once it all went down and Miami got out of there with the win, I was excited about the prospect of Seattle hosting this team. It's how it should be. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Isn't that what they say? Meant to ask Kris about it and forgot, but he did say that he was feeling the injury in the Orlando game. And that being the case, like, does he have a full 90? Does he have a full 90 in him? I don't know, but one thing I do know is what I said earlier, which is that there's just no way that he, or I don't think any of the Barca boys would be playing in this game if it wasn't a final. It would just never happen. I've seen enough teams that have that type of player come to Seattle that to know that they just don't usually do that. Zlatan played on it. I respected that. He didn't run. He didn't run at the time, so I guess maybe that made the service matter less. But I do remember he played at Lumen. But there's just no way. There's just no way, unless it was a knockout game, that Messi would ever play here. So I think that's another thing that adds to the novelty of this situation, is just that he is going to be playing. It's not going to be a situation where they can hold him out and rest him, not bring him on the trip. They're bringing him on the trip. He might be here right now. I don't know. I don't know when they get here. Got a couple super chats. Thank you guys for the love and support. Christian, thank you for the 5. Christian with a CH says Messi is coming for that ass on Sunday. What's up, Kris? Ethan became a YouTube member. Thank you, Ethan. Appreciate you. Stick and Wiggle, thank you for the 5. Rodrigo DePaul looking to get nutmegged by RBW for a second time this year. Rodrigo DePaul, that's their secret intel, because he already scouted up Seattle when he was on Atletico Madrid during the Club World Cup. Now he's coming here again. He's gonna tell him what's up. He's gonna tell him how it plays. Messi's not 100% yet, but he's playing the full 90 because it's a final. I tend to agree. And if his hammy's not feeling good, I don't feel any there's like no real degree of safety I feel in this situation. Seattle could lose this game. When you're playing against Leo Messi, you can always get bammed on. That's just that is just the sad reality. I'll say though, I like their chance. I like Seattle's chances more than I would pretty much anyone else. Like, given that they're hosting it. If they had to go on the road, it would be different. But this team hosting games like this is when they play their best. And really, like, this entire tournament, it really has been some of the best footy I've ever seen the team play. Like, for me, there's very little doubt about that at this point. I think the comparison that most people have made is the 2014 team, the Deuce Oba days. This team plays better team ball than that. That team was two guys, Marco Papa. It was Deuce Oba, Marco Papa. Have those guys kind of just cook, and that was the team. This team can hurt you in all different kinds of ways. All different kinds of players are scoring the goals. You got Osaze de Rosario out there banging in goals. I've really liked how they've been able to kind of switch between tactics in games. Have you guys noticed that? Like they'll be pressing like the goddamn energy drink soccer New York Red Bulls 1 minute, and then knocking the ball around like a classic Sounders team, slicing and dicing the next minute. I think that's part of what's working right now is like these teams they're playing, they don't know what to expect. They're on their heels. And just the way they're pressing right now. This is definitely the best I've ever seen a Sounders press look. It's insane right now. It's so fun to watch because like with the Galaxy game last night, you could feel them getting overwhelmed. They didn't know how to deal with it. That's what happens when you have a good press. You have guys that put them under pressure. A lot of teams try to press and aren't effective with it because what they're doing a good job of is pressing, winning the ball, springing counters. But like the thing that does those energy drink Red Bulls teams in did those teams in sometimes. I feel like they don't play like that as much anymore. But what did those teams in is like if you play like that all the time and you're not just hyper locked in and disciplined and on your stuff the entire time, every moment that you play like that, you leave yourself susceptible on the other end of giving up other teams counters, and just generally your defense isn't as set. It's not as solid. But I think what Seattle's doing a good job right now is pressing these teams, putting them under pressure, winning the ball, but not giving away an egregious amount of transition opportunities going the other way. They're still good about staying solid and locking it down when they need to be. Caps press Miami and look what happened. That's sort of the blueprint. I hope the team and the coaching staff watch a little bit of that film because Vancouver was able to overwhelm them on the road, which that's not easy to do. And Messi was playing in that game, unless I'm tripping. So I guess that's the other thing. Like it's hard to be a team that's got Messi on it, but it's not impossible. It can be done. Will Seattle do it? I don't know. Maybe not. It's not like this thing where Seattle winning it would be completely out of left field. Like if the Galaxy won last night and this was Inter Miami against the Galaxy. I mean, I don't even think they would need to bring Messi on that trip. God, the Galaxy. Like you guys know. I'm not like it doesn't count guy. There's no it doesn't count in knockout games. That is kind of the beauty of a knockout game is it does count by definition. That's the whole point of it. It counts for who advances and who doesn't. So you can't say it doesn't count because literally the whole it doesn't count thing is like, oh, it's a random regular season game. If it was a knockout game against whoever, then that would count. Well, it was a knockout game. So it does count. But God, their defense. that guy Zonka, that center back that they start. Whew. I think he had one of the worst games I've ever. He had one of the worst games I've ever seen a defender have, and one of the only other ones that I could name in recent history was by Amaro Garces earlier this year, who is his teammate on this same Galaxy team. Garces didn't play last night. I think he was injured or suspended maybe or something. But like 2 of the top 5 worst defender games I've ever seen have been played by center backs from the 2025 LA Galaxy. And I love the extent to which the Seattle Sounders have taken advantage of that over these last 2 games that they've played the Galaxy. And you know what's funny? Sure, many of you have already looked at this and gleamed this, but they play again in like 2 weeks. Seattle plays the Galaxy again at Lumen right before the Miami game. They're just playing the same teams over and over right now. Seattle shouldn't focus so much on Messi. They should try to exploit Miami's weak defense first, and then you can contain Messi as much as possible as a team. I pretty much agree. Like, that's what I was trying to say earlier. The Messi goal isn't like baked in, but it pretty much is, man. Keeping him off the stat sheet over a full 90 it's just very hard to do. I would not, if you're like super hoping for a clean sheet in this game and Miami not scoring at all, I would not bank on that. I would not take that to the bank. I think they're going to get at least 1 or 2. It's just a matter of Seattle's defense can put up 3+ and just hope that it's not like an insane I think he's going to get 1. If he doesn't get 1, they're going to give him a penalty. We all know that. What minute is the penalty awarded? We know it's happening. But if you can get 3+ and he gets a couple, then you still win the game. See what I'm saying? I think any game plan that you're trying to coach up of like, this is how we slow down Messi. Like, no, it's limit the amount he gets on the ball as much as you can, as much as is physically possible. But as for the idea that you're going to fully neutralize him, it just doesn't. I've seen no evidence that that's something that happens pretty much ever. So I think you try. You got this game at home. I think you try and swarm these guys. You play it exactly like you did this last Galaxy game where, I thought it was so impressive how quickly Seattle got on top of the Galaxy last night as the road team. That's not always easy to do. Usually the home team is like dictating stuff off rip. You got to try and make sure that you maintain that dynamic as much as you can, with the knowledge that when they win the ball and they get off running in transition, like there's going to be scary moments in this game where Seattle loses the ball or has a giveaway. When they win the ball or there's a giveaway, they hit it to number 10 right away, which is that's what they should do. That's what I would do if I was on that team, which I'm not. But if I was on that team, that would be I would if I had the ball, I would just give the ball to number 10, and when he starts running, it's going to get nervy at times. I wouldn't panic if they score first necessarily. Like, that could happen. I think for them, they need multiple goals to win this game outright. I would be pretty surprised if Seattle gets shut out by this Inter Miami team at home. Then so be it. That means they'll have had like out of character a much better game defensively than they usually do. And I also thought one of the things I was talking about with Kris was kind of underratedly key that I hadn't really thought about that much, which is that for as good as Busquets is, like he's not a speed demon, and he's not like he's one of the best dime dishers to ever play the game, but he's not like a defensive enforcer type. That's like what they got DePaul for, right? I think Christian and Obed can actually get at this guy a little bit. Maybe that's just hopium. It could be. But I think we saw it in the Orlando game. Like I thought Busquets he should have the play that he had on Angulo. That's a penalty, bro. Like what are we I don't know what we were talking about with that. I think the one that Orlando got called on them, I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch it that much, but from what I saw, it seemed like the guy grabbed the jersey and pulled him down, whatever, gets awarded on VAR. But how's that one by Busquets on Angulo not get called a penny? I don't know. I don't care. Like I said, I'm happy for this matchup to be against Messi and the Barca Boys. I think that's great. But come on now. Like watch that play and like tell me I'm wrong. That's probably something that Seattle's going to have to deal with as well. Busquets, the Barca Boys can do stuff like that, and they don't get that called on them. Seattle does it to Messi now. You would see number 10 on Inter Miami at the spot faster than you could think. Yeah, the Orlando goal was not a handball. No. You like at the very least you could not tell like where it hit. I didn't think it hit anything on his hand or arm. I didn't even know what we were debating with that. That was to me it looked like it didn't hit any part of his arm or hand. But if we're saying that if we were trying to glean whether it did based on trajectory, which is what it looked like they were doing, you could not tell. You could not tell. If you can't, like, you could be right, but like if you can't tell, then you can't overturn it. It was the right call to not overturn it for sure. And the Angulo one is the one that gets me. I know there was a lot of talk about the one that the first one that Miami got awarded. That one, it's like I feel like I can, just thinking it back on it on my mind, I feel like I can see why it was awarded. It looked like he pulled the guy. Like he pulled the guy down. You're gonna get that called. The Angulo one, it's like he's around Busquets if Busquets doesn't stick his leg out and trip him, and it was in the box. So like I don't know. I'm not the tinfoil hat guy. You guys know. I'm the one who's been saying that the fact that they got DePaul is like not as controversial as it's being made out to be. I think it's just something that there's a lot of precedent for when the oligarch class has a name that they want to get in the league, and your club is linked to that player, it doesn't matter if you're Inter Miami or anyone else, they will find some way to let you do it. As Seattle Sounders fans know quite well, thanks to one Clint Dempsey. So I'm not talking about them cheating. I'm not talking about script writing. But that's a penalty. Osaze got to be clinical. Yeah. There's I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, there's going to be chances like that in this game. There's going to be. If you can finish 3+ of them, you can win this game. You can win this game, and it doesn't even matter if Messi gets you for a couple. And like, that's the other thing I was going to say about the it doesn't count thing. Like, well, people doesn't count because it's the Galaxy defenders. The Inter Miami defenders, I might regret saying this, but it's not like they're that much better. I think they are better than freaking Zonka and whoever else was out there for them last night. They are better than that. Falcone and whoever the other guy is. They're better than that. They're not. I don't rate them or think of them much differently than any other team that's got like replacement level to bad MLS defenders. They can be scored on. They're going to give up some chances. It's just, can you finish? And I think this game is ripe for Osaze to make an impact. I don't expect him to bully ball the Miami defenders like he did do 3. Oh man, that's one thing I forgot to I wanted to show to you guys. This was funny. Just from watching the Osaze goal again, the amount of chances that they had to stop this goal is pretty. It's comical. It's comical. Hold on, I gotta just find the still real quick. Look at this, chat. Let's bask in this one more time. This is the situation when the long throw in came to the box to Osaze. Look how many guys they have. Look how many guys they have in the vicinity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, arguably 6 if you crash in there. There is just no way. There's just no way this can ever be a goal. And then look, so when he flips it over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still. What are you guys doing? Just standing there, letting him moss your 2 former English Premier League defenders. One, 2, 3, still right there. Still right there. Someone stop him. Get off me. Done. Get out of Leagues Cup. Anyway, like, come on, man. I mean, it was awesome for us, but good Lord, guys. We're not talking about two guys in the vicinity. We're talking about 5 or 6. And what's funny about it too is if you watch the first goal, where they just let Rothrock come in there and steal the rebound, Zonka's just standing there. Cuevas, I think, was confused because I think what's their goalkeeper's name? Novak Nikovic. I think he and Cuevas got crossed up because the goalkeeper looks like he gave him like a, I got this. And clearly Zonka and Cuevas didn't know that Rothrock. It didn't even like occur to them, I don't think, that Rothrock wouldn't have stopped sprinting and was just running in there. I don't think they saw him or knew he was coming. So I think Cuevas was genuinely confused. Zonka was just standing there. I thought the keeper called off Cuevas. So maybe Zonka got confused too. Maybe that's on the goalkeeper, but someone's got to get in there and deal with that, man. You can't let Paul Rothrock jet rocket across the penalty box and get to that rebound before any of your guys do. That's crazy. Like I said, I mean, I was happy. I was happy that they did it. You like that, Jake? More Ari narrating the players while stop motion in the YouTube clips. I can do that. Also, people seem to like my broadcast skills when I do the watch along stuff. I'm becoming a broadcaster. That was one of our most popular streams, was the LAFC charity match watch along, where I was broadcasting the match. Rothrock seagulled their French fries, bro. Yes. Should we stop motion commentate that one? Let's do it. There was some issue of us like not being allowed to do this, but I see everyone else do it all the time. I think this is it. All right, so let's size this up. That's the Osaze shot. It's an easy save for Novak here. I was wondering if he could have snared this fully. But good on Osaze for putting enough pace on it. But even so, like once it's spilled, you got Rothrock all the way over here. How many guys we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is anyone going to do anything to stop this? No, he's just going to jet rocket all the way over there and take it. Oh my goodness. It's undeniably tough scene for them defensively. But I will say it is the type of stuff that you make your own luck by putting a bad team under pressure a lot. Inter Miami is not this bad. Their defense is not this bad. It's not great. It's definitely, if there's a weak link in their team, it's that. I would take Seattle's defense over their defense, even though Seattle's defense has been leaky in its own right at times this year. But it's been great in Leagues Cup. But I guess, again, I just don't know how much that's a consideration. You can have the best defense in the league, and if you're playing Messi and the Barca Boys, it's not always going to save you. Jose with the $2. Thank you, man. Appreciate the support. Why is Schmetzer still not Coach of the Year contender? It's because the national pundits have an East Coast bias. And in all seriousness, it's because the perception is that he is a product of his circumstances more than he is actually good at coaching. That is how people perceive it nationally, is that he has had a ton of success. He's won a ton of games. He's won a lot of trophies. But how much of that is because he is this great coach, and how much of it is that he is perennially given some of the strongest foundation, infrastructure, and talented rosters and deepest rosters in the league. That's why he's never been in consideration for that. Now, those perceptions are incorrect and flat out silly at this point, and I think this season proves it more than anything. The job that Schmetzer has done this year, getting this team to play at the level that they've been playing at, despite the injuries that they've had, has been unreal. It's one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen. And there's a lot that goes into that. You know, part of it is just like purely the on-field stuff, like the tactics, the game planning, coaching the players up to execute those game plans week in, week out. He's clearly way better at that than people give him credit for. Like, I don't know what to say about that at this point. Like, you think he just writes 4-2-3-1 on the sheet every week and that's all there is to it, and he doesn't have to do anything else? But for me, it's more about stuff like winning culture, identity, giving players chances. I was thinking about this example from this Galaxy game. Not every coach would have started Osaze in that situation. I think there are previous years where Schmetzer might not have even started Osaze in that situation. There's a school of thought where a coach in that situation would have overthought it, and they would have been like, Osaze he's trusting him to start a game and come through in this moment. Like, I don't trust him to do that. He's too young. He doesn't have enough experience. This game is too important. I'm going to start Jesus Ferreira as a false nine and bring Osaze off the bench. Some coaches would have done that. Schmetzer stuck to what he believed would work. He gave a player an opportunity that earned it on the merits, on the training ground, and through the work that he has put in since he was on Tacoma Defiance, a player who had been producing and performing on the field. And he rewarded that with a start in the biggest game of the season. And yeah, was he forced into it because of the Moose suspension? But like I said, like, not every coach would have had the belief in Osaze right there in that situation. Schmetzer did. That's good coaching. That's putting your players in position to succeed. Let's look at some of the other coaches of the last couple of years. See if he got snubbed for anybody. Last year it was Wilfred Nancy. Can't really disagree with that. Year before that is Pat Noonan. Fine choice. Year before that, Jim Curtin. Year before that, Bruce Arena. Jim Curtin got it twice in 3 years. 2022 was the year that Seattle won Champions League, but then crashed out of playoffs, so he wouldn't have won it that year. Even though, like, I mean, it's a league season award, so he wouldn't have won it that year. I don't have like any major issues with this. But Schmetzer should get one. I think he could get one this year. Like, I don't think he will, but like on the merits of it, he could. Just because of all the injuries this team has had this year, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. What is like we were talking about it on the post game last night, but I'll reiterate it again because it's one of my favorite things about this team, and especially during this tournament, is just how they don't use the adversity and the injuries and everything that's been thrown at them in that way. They don't make excuses. It'd be real easy to throw your hands up, be like, well, the number 9 has been injured all year. The number 10 is out. The left back gets suspended every 2 games. The backup striker crashed out and got a red of his own. This Galaxy game is, could be tough. No one would ever say that outwardly, but like, I think we've seen situations where stuff like that, it like gets into your head, into teams' heads, like subconsciously. There's just none of that with this team. They don't care. They don't care what the lineup is, who's starting, who's coming off the bench, who's available or unavailable. They just go out there, they put in work. They score a bunch of goals, they take results. I love that. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to watch an MLS team that gets all that stuff thrown at them and just wins the games anyway. There's so many MLS games and CONCACAF Champions League games that I've watched over the years where it's mostly MLS games when teams are juggling with CONCACAF Champions League, where it's just like you're punting. There's just not enough depth to rotate as much as you need to, withstand all the injuries that you're inevitably going to have, and still take results. And it's frustrating because you're effectively punting results, and then, the discourse is super toxic and negative. The fans are all pissed off, and you're sitting there like, well, no one who actually is like a highly paid impact player on this team was even out there. So it's what I expected, but it's all this bad discourse anyway, and they took L's, and it just sucks. This team right now is giving us the gift of not having to do that. Appreciate them for that. Today on KJR, Schmetzer, there was an injury concern coming out of the game. He would not say what or who, but I think made it pretty clear it was Christian. Well, I hadn't heard that. That's not good. What did he noticed during the game at one point it looked like he might have tweaked a hammy. Well, I guess we'll see if he can still play. I mean, this is a game like this too on short turnaround. It's a battle of attrition to an extent. I mean, Messi has a tweaked hammy too. He's going to try and play through it. Messi with a tweaked hammy is obviously still better than most. It would be a problem if Christian can't play. That is the one guy where I don't know if what I was just talking about applies. I don't. because a lot of these situations, it's the depth players are providing a like for like of the players that they're replacing. Moose, for example, is pretty much a like for like replacing the production that you get from Jordan Morris, which is crazy, but it's true. Osaze has contributed to that as well. There's not really a like for like for what Christian does for this team. But I'm not gonna, even if he can't play, I'm not gonna put it past this team to still get a result. Who would start in the double pivot? Snyder Brunel. I'm not even tripping about that if that happens. Is it a big spot for him? But it is a big spot for him, but if it comes to it, I trust Snyder Brunel to go out there and compete. Lay it on the line. Not back down from the moment. I've already seen a lot of those attributes from him. He doesn't seem fazed by much. And, you know, an 18-year-old homegrown playing his like third game with the first team, fourth game with the first team. In a double pivot, trying to slow down Lionel Messi and the Barca Boys. It's scary. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. Like, that's what I'm saying, Jake. Like, I would be actively excited if he started this game. I don't know if it would go well. Maybe he gets burned for a bunch of goals. I don't know. But I think that's the ethos of this team right now. They don't make excuses. They go out there, they compete, they take care of business. They stand on business. I trust them to do that no matter what in this game. And that's a cool feeling to have because kind of allows me to feel like I'll be at peace with the result, even if it doesn't go Seattle's way, because like a final against a team like this, all you can do is go out there, throw down, compete as hard as you can, and let the chips fall where they may. You can't face plant, not compete, get overrun, not play up to your level, up to your potential. That's what I can't live with. But I trust this team to go out there no matter who's in the starting 11, if it's Snyder Brunel, if it's Christian Roldan, if it's anyone else. I trust them to go out there and compete at a high level to the best of their abilities. If you do that, let the chips fall. If it doesn't go your way, it is what it is. Just how Snyder Brunel, moves on the field, you can see why he was the Defiance captain. He is just been so intriguingly good. I gotta say, like, it's pretty surprising. I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't watched him play on Defiance all that much. But what I look for, like, when I'm watching these young kids come up is like who looks like they're standing out, who's excelling, who's not just blending in, who's not afraid to make, who's blending in, who's afraid to make mistakes, and who's like actually putting their imprint on the game and standing out. He's doing that, I think, outside of the goals that he scored. It's it's wild that they can just bring a guy up like that. Best signing of the transfer window that anyone made. Highest upside prospect signed by any team during the transfer window. I'm going to keep doing this bit, even though I know it's unpopular. Because while I say it facetiously, signing your homegrowns counts as signing players. If you're good at it. If they actually become starters, impact players that move the needle, impact results for the first team, stand out whenever they're on the field. If he's doing that and he's a homegrown, it's actually you realize it's actually better for the health of the roster than if they used allocation money or U22 spots or whatever it is for that position. It's actually better. It's more impressive. And he's a homegrown, so he doesn't count against the salary cap. Not saying that means they shouldn't have signed somebody or that they shouldn't sign someone moving forward. I'm just telling you, like, that is a move. It's a signing. It's a roster addition. People can mock that and laugh at that if they want, but it's just facts is what it is. And it's also like, if he's playing like he's been playing, scoring goals, looking this good, like as part of the team, what do I care if he's homegrown or from somewhere else? I don't. Maybe some people do. You guys said yesterday how the Sounders roster is the antithesis of Miami, so Snyder scoring and outshining Messi would be hilarious. Just the fact that Snyder, it sounds like there's a very strong possibility that he's going to be on the field against Messi. That's awesome. We were laughing in the Club World Cup, just like taking joy in the visual of like the PSG scouting staff and coaching staff in the film room, putting the Seattle tape on, putting it in the VCR. I picture them putting the tape in the VCR with one of those TVs they used to wheel into like your classroom in third grade to watch Bill Nye. Got one of those in the Inter Miami film room, put in Seattle's tape in the VCR. PSG scouts writing it. All right, Danny Musovsky. Got a kick out of that visual. Now it's the Inter Miami staff. Except they got Leo Messi and the Barca Boys gathered around the TV. Snyder Brunel, okay. Anyone know who that is? No. Osaze De Rosario. Then they play the clip of the Shake and Quake. Sergio Busquets goes, oh. That's who we have to play against? Screw that. I'm not going to Seattle. I'm staying on South Beach. All I want is Leyva redemption story. Subs in on stoppage time, scores the game-winning goal on a free kick. I want him to get his goal. He deserves it. Who's starting up top? Give me Osaze. Give me Osaze. I think in tournament play, vibes matter. And the Osaze vibes are just incredible right now. You keep riding that. You don't mix that up. I was thinking about it watching the game last night because we were talking about how, if Moose hadn't crashed out and got the red card, Osaze doesn't start that game. The shake and quake doesn't happen. And also how Osaze had 2 wide open breakaways that if you gave Moose those exact same chances, I don't know if Moose can make runs like that, to be fair. What I was getting at is Moose probably finishes the ones that Osaze had saved with the form that Moose is in right now, but there's no way that Moose does the shake and quake. So yeah, no, you ride Osaze in this game and you let the chips fall. That's what you do. Same lineup, but just RBW because Nuhu red, yeah. And then if this Christian injury is a real thing, Snyder B. Is it weird, chat, that the notion of Snyder B starting this game against Messi and the Barca Boys doesn't faze me that much? Am I overconfident? I'd be happy to see him out there. Not really in the sense of it would be a huge bummer if Christian just wasn't able to play in this game because of what the opportunity is, the team they're going against, and everything he's put in for this team this year. He deserves this opportunity, and I believe he would make the most of this opportunity. But if he can't, then I believe in Snyder B. It'd be a drop off, obviously in certain ways. Christian's skill set is very unique. Doesn't Snyder have shades of him in certain ways? I'm not saying they're a total for comp. I think they are. I think Christian is just such a dog on defense and covers so much ground. He does more of the dirty work than Snyder B does, at least that I've seen so far. But as far as, ability to get out of pressure, ball progression, moving proactively, knowing where to receive the ball, making these turns, springing attack, he does that. Snyder does all that stuff at a very high level. And if you watch these goals that he's scoring, or the 2 that he's scored, his movement in the box is just savvy, way beyond his years, especially the what was the one? In the Sporting KC game. You guys remember that, where he sold it like he was asking for the pass out front, so his defender kept running to try and cut that off, and then he just stopped his run, and then Georgie was able to just pick him out, and he was wide ass open. It's veteran savvy, man. It's good stuff. You don't see that from an 18-year-old homegrown. I'm telling you, I think he might be special. We'll see what happens with that. I don't really think if Christian actually can't go, which would suck. I don't even think you have another option. I think you ride Snyder B. You roll out an 11 with Snyder B and Osaze de Rosario in it against Lionel Messi and the Barca Boys. and you win the game anyway. Will we get cooked by Messi? Maybe. Will Reed get cooked by Messi? Maybe. Maybe, but that's what I'm saying, man. Will insert name here get cooked by Messi? Yeah, probably. Like, the answer to that question is usually yes, regardless of it's Reed, Baker, Whiting, or anyone else. It's not about stopping Messi and like keeping a miracle clean sheet. I don't think that's what this game is about. This game is about if you can put 3+ on him. If you can put 3+ on him, I think you can win the game. And that, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But we've seen this team score 3+ a ton this year. A lot recently. And this Miami team, I don't know if Seattle's going to get 3+ goals or how it's going to end up. I do know there will be chances. I can tell you guys that. The looks will be there in this. It's just like the Galaxy game to a lesser extent. I don't think their defense is I know it's not that bad, but we're watching Zonka out there taking a leisurely stroll while Paul Rothrock jet rockets by him and steals a rebound off his own goalkeeper. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But as far as Seattle being able to press these guys, win the ball, get out in transition, find De La Vega in space, find Rothrock in space, and get these goals on or get these chances on the counter that they've been getting. Those moments are going to be there in this game. And you never know. Maybe Maxi Falcone has like the game of his life, stands on his head. Seattle's XG merching. They have those chances, can't finish him, gets shut out. Messi bams 4 times. That could happen. But there's goals to be had. There's goals to be had in this game. It's just a matter of what do they call it? Harm reduction? The likelihood that he's going to get you for at least one is pretty damn high. But it's about minimizing the damage, right? That's how, like, how many games have they lost this year? What's their record? They've lost 5 games. They have 3 games in hand of why do they have so many games in hand because of the Club World Cup, but Seattle has no games in hand? What's up with that? They've lost 5 games this year, okay? Including 3 on the road. I want no part of penalty kicks against this team. Three goals. That's going to be the I think that's going to be the threshold. I guess I don't think Nuhu makes a difference, really. He might in some individual situations, but as far as the totality of if Messi's going to score on you or not, it's just as likely that he will bam on you with Nuhu in there as it is with RBW in there. Like, it's kind of, it might seem crazy to say that, but I have yet to hear of a defender who makes a difference in that regard. A lot have tried over the last couple of decades few, if any, have ever truly succeeded. Like, that's just what it is. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Like, we'll see if he can do it on a potentially rainy evening in Seattle. We'll see. He probably can, but we don't know. We'll find out. This is why players like Jesus Ferreira and Ariola come to Sounders at a pay cut to compete for trophies. Championship culture. You know, it's actually a good point. Because if we're talking about some of the reasons why this team has been able to accrue the depth that they have, a winning culture incentivizes players to want to come here. And Ferreira is an example of that. He wanted to leave FC Dallas, take the next or a different step in his career, deciding where he wants to go. Makes sense that like a guy like him would be incentivized to come here. And God, that is one of my other takeaways from the game last night. I'm so glad they made that trade. I am so glad they made that trade. I'm so glad he's on the team, and I'm so glad that fans are not GMs. I thought he was so good last night, man. I really did. The fact that he didn't get an assist on that first wide open shot that Osaze had saved. What a pass. And the dimes he was hitting, the way those counters were running. Whew. Is Adrian a key part in that culture building? Does Adrian deserve his flowers too? I think yes, man. I do. I know we have had our fun at old Papa Hanauer's expense this year. He crashed out on the squad in the locker room for them protesting a completely reasonable thing in the Club World Cup. He's broke, doesn't spend money on transfers. But yeah, like you do have to credit him for why the culture and foundation and infrastructure of this organization is as strong as it is. He might be broke, but he did create that. And for however broke he might be, he did spend a lot of money on a world-class training facility that I think also further incentivizes like players to want to come here. But also it's just like a part of that kind of foundation and infrastructure that we're talking about. And I'm glad you brought it up because he does get credit for that. Like there's no way that he doesn't. He's the one who hired Brian Schmetzer. He does own or is it a pillow company or a frame shop? We always call it a frame shop, but that might be wrong. It might be a pillow company. Why do we call it a frame shop? Is it a frame shop? It's one of a pillow company or a frame shop. Him and his brother sold the Down Pillow Company a while back. Okay, so it's a frame shop now. Whatever it is, it must not be doing that hot because the Seattle Sounders Can't even sign a U22. Am I right, folks? How does one get involved in the pillow business? I don't know, but he did clean out on that. All right, chat. I'm gonna call it a night. I've been rocking for 2 hours and 15 minutes, so that's a good shift. Thanks for tuning in to another banger show. Leagues Cup final on Sunday, Lumen Field, Inter Miami and the Barca Boys. Be there. We're planning on. I don't know. We haven't there's been no movement on like a potential meetup or meet event. But I'm definitely trying to get down to Pioneer Square early on Sunday. We'll let you guys know what's up with that. If you're going to the game, definitely come say hi. It's gonna be an event. It's gonna be an occasion. Leo Messi coming to Seattle, and not just coming, like he's been in Seattle before in the Copa America and stuff. This is with a cup final on the line playing against the Seattle Sounders. Everyone, do what Ben said. Like the video, sub to the channel. Go ahead, sauce us a follow on Instagram if you haven't, TikTok as well. And like the video. Like the video. We'll it's also possible we do another I feel like this is kind of like a special occasion type situation. So if there's like an opportunity that makes sense to fire up another live or something, it's possible. I don't know if that's going to happen, but like it could be like a unique type of schedule with what we got going on right now. So follow me on Blue Sky. I'll keep you up to date on anything up that way, and also on what it's going to look like on match day as far as where we're hanging out beforehand. And then on Sunday, I mean, we'll be we've got our like our routine and our setup for being able to stream from the stadium, which those have been fun. We're gonna try to do those for all the home games, but I mean this one, win or lose, we're gonna be on here talking about it, taking calls, hanging out. So don't miss out. It's a historic occasion. Hasham closing us out with the $1.99. Thank you, man. Ronaldo is better than Messi. I don't agree, but I like I like where your head's at. Like where your head's at. You think there'll be a lot of Miami fans there? It's hard to say like on this short of notice. I imagine there's usually like for one of the big teams like this, there's usually some there no matter what. There's also like this is another thing Kris and I were talking about. Just kind of there's a lot of people who are Messi fans over like fans of being a club. I see a lot of Messi Inter Miami kits in Seattle, like independent of anything else. A surprising amount. Like, it's not like I've seen one or two. I've seen like at least like 6 or 7 people walking around Seattle in Messi Inter Miami kits, which is fine. That's fine. Just means I think there probably is going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of people there that are not MLS people at all, that are not Inter Miami or Sounders fans, that are more fans of like global footy, European leagues and stuff. They're going to pull up for this. So It's gonna be wild. I think they should pack at least 60. If they pull 50 to 60, I think that would be solid. But it'd be fire if they just sold this thing out. I don't know what the situation is with that, but it's gonna be crazy. I think celebrities will show up, like Andrew Wiebe. I don't know if it's going to be as many celebs as like that show up to their games in Miami, but I bet there's going to be, there's going to be famous people there. There's going to be a lot of national pundits there. Whenever there's a final, the national pundits descend, which I love. I love the national pundits. They love me too because that was it MLS Cup 2019. One time they were all here. It was MLS Cup 2019. There was like all the national pundits were here, and the Cooligans were having an event at some brewery in Capitol Hill that was way too small for the scale of event that they were trying to have, and they got kicked out. And I showed up right as they were getting kicked out, and an entire gaggle of national pundits, they all looked at me and they said, "Hey, you live here. Where should we go?" And I was like, "Oh, I got to think on my feet right now. Where do I take this massive group of pundits?" So I took them to Rhino Room, and they were all like, "Oh my God, this is perfect. You saved the day. We got kicked out of the brewery, but this place is big enough for all 40 of us." I bailed them out. I don't think the Cooligans even know about that. I don't think it was like a lot of people there. I don't think they know that I was the one who saved them in that situation. All right. I'm getting out of here on that. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Appreciate all of you. I'll catch you this weekend, hopefully before the game, but if not, most definitely after the game. Have a good night.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere. And some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.